guys, welcome back to GracedWithRc. I'm back in the studio today doing part 2 of the complete upgrade build of the Dromida SC4.18. Got a lot of goodies here, so stay tuned. So on the very first thing I'd like to start with is any soldering I have to do prior to building the kit. I'm going to be running a true Dean's connector, and I'll be cutting off this mini Tamiya plug. Quick tip on this, it's a good idea to do a plus and minus on a Dean's connector. It only goes in one way, but it makes it a lot easier that you don't forget to solder the wrong end and you will have some major issues and have to redo it. So always do that prior to soldering, just do a plus and minus, makes it a lot more easier. There we go. After you solder on the connector you want to use, it's a really good idea just to plug your whole system in. Make sure you have a fully charged battery as well so you don't hit some kind of LiPo cutoff and you're not trying to figure out why your ESC isn't binding. Also, you can have your servo recentered. This saves you a lot of time when you do the installation, then you know the vehicle's ready to go. Now with all electronics set up, I'm going to do the shocks. The shocks come pre-assembled. The part number are D1DC1127. The only thing they don't have is shock oil. I'm going to run 40 weight shock oil in these shocks. So after disassembling the shocks, I was proven wrong. There was actually oil in there, just extremely thin oil, almost like water. So I decided to run 50 weight oil instead of 40 weight oil like I mentioned before. Now for the springs, I'm running for the front would be the blue springs, and the part number is DIDC1059. And then for the rear, I'll be running the orange springs, which are the DIDC1040. They're actually quite nice. All aluminum bodied, aluminum cap with the little bleeder valve on the end. Nice job, Dromida. These are pretty nice. Now here's the truck. The next step I'm going to do is complete disassembly. That's going to involve taking the brush motor out, the 2-in-1 ESC and receiver, the servo, the front and rear drive shafts, the center drive shaft, the plastic spur gear, the front and rear shocks, and relubing the diffs front and rear as well. So I'm just taking a quick break to show you guys what it's looking like. You can see the rear diff and the spur gear as well. Now I'm going to show you what I'm going to be installing here. It's the drivetrain kit. It's aluminum axles, the aluminum spur gear, which is a 45 tooth, the aluminum center drive shaft, and the aluminum dog bones. So after I get these installed, I'll give you guys a close look of what it looks like. Awesome. That's a quick look of what the rear diff looks like. Let's see if we get it in there. That's it, really small, all plastic. I filled up the rear diff with 10,000 weight Traxxas diff loop. I think that should work out pretty good. Going to give you guys a quick progress report. You can see the center drive shafts installed. The 45 tooth spur is installed. The aluminum dog bones are all installed with the aluminum axles. The shocks are installed, and the front and rear diffs are relubed with 10K oil. Now the next step is do the electronics. Now for a tech tip. You need to buy, or if you have 2.5 millimeter hex screws to fit in this new can. Also, I had to Dremel a little bit of the motor mount away just to give a little more movement and play so I can remesh up the pinion and the spur gear. Also, almost forgot, blue Loctite, and then a little more blue Loctite on the motor mounts and the pinion gear. I just finished installing all the electronics, the 12-turn 4800 kV 4-pole brushless motor, the 16 BL30 Hobbywing ESC, the high-tech HS82MG servo, and everything fits really nicely in there. It's pretty tight squeeze with all the wiring because it's such a small vehicle. I will be running the Onyx 1300 milliamp 25C 3S LiPo as well, with the Dean's connector that I soldered on earlier. The installation went pretty easily. There was a couple issues I had, one being the motor mount. I mentioned that before. I had to Dremel out a little bit of the motor mount to give it enough play for the mesh for the pinion and spur gear. Also, you need the 2.5 millimeter Allen bolts. The other issue I had was with the high-tech HS82MG servo. The stock servo horn that came with the vehicle could not work, and it would not fit with a spline on the high-tech servo. So I used one of the servo horns that came with the kit with the high-tech servo. I used the horn that has the propeller style blade where it has two ends. I just cut one of the tails off of it and then smoothed it out to the bottom, and that made it work actually very nicely. And then I just used double-sided servo tape. Now here's the final product. Now the finished product. It came out quite nicely. This vehicle was very easy to work on and everything was very straightforward. Like always, I'll end the show with a nice close-up. So get out there, guys, get bashing, get wrenching. Hope this video helped you guys out and you learned a few things. Catch you later.